All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Past the Rock podcast. Happy Tuesday. How's it going, man? How's your day, bro?
Hey, man, it's going good. Oh, wait, hold on. Which this camera? Get the close up on him. That is the loser cam.
Bro, you couldn't even wait for the episode to move a little bit further for you to start doing all that, bro.
Because you were talking a lot of mess last week, so we gotta make sure we get the loser cam right there.
In my defense, I technically were tied, if we want to be technical, because the first game was 3 games, and then you won 1, I won 2, and then now. But come on, you knew I didn't want to pick the Ravens though. I just let you pick the. You know what's cool? I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna lose it.
It's okay. We got 2 more games coming this week.
Whatever,
so don't
Brody.
worry about it.
All right, let's go. Let's go right into it, man. You already know how we get this started. Got to warm up a little bit. Got a little icebreaker, man. We're gonna do a little guess who again. Defensive side this time. So you go ahead and pick your player. Let me pick my player. Who do I wanna go with? I don't want to make this easy, but don't make it too hard either. All right, I got mine.
Okay, I got mine.
All right, you want to start? Or did you start last time?
I started last time.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Is your player a defensive lineman?
No.
All right.
Is your player a defensive back?
No.
Okay.
Has your player ever? Okay, it's not defensive lineman, so never mind. It's most likely didn't do that. Does your player have a ring?
No.
All right.
Is your player Fred Warner?
Nah. Whoa, come on, man. You
I'm
don't
sorry.
give it a little bit of time, man.
I had to swing.
Come on, they just played yesterday.
I had to swing for the home run. Go ahead.
Is your player a linebacker?
No.
All right.
Does your player play for? Or sorry, not play for. Does your player play in the NFC?
No.
Okay.
Is your player considered okay, I guess. Has your player ever been to the Super Bowl? Didn't have to win it.
No.
Okay.
Is your player in the AFC North?
No.
That's Ravens.
No, it's not. No. I had to think about it for a second.
Okay.
So your player is a cornerback?
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah.
Okay, that was a
I'm
question.
just asking. My bad.
Right.
Yeah. Is your player a quarterback?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So, and it plays in the AFC. It's not in the AFC North. Is your player play in? Does your player play? Man, made this real hard. Did your player play for a top college?
Yeah. Guys having phone malfunctions. Malfunctions. Yeah, he played in the top college for sure.
Okay.
Is your player Jalen Ramsey?
No.
All right, that's too easy. I just had to get that out the way.
Did your player play in the AFC East?
Is that a Chiefs division?
Patriots?
No.
Yeah.
Is your player Javon Diggs?
No.
Why did you think if your player was Javon Diggs?
It wasn't. No. Okay. Is your player? Hang on. I actually forgot his name. Man, the Chiefs defensive back.
Chris Jones?
No. Oh,
defensive back?
I'm thinking defensive back. Nah, not Chris Jones. Go ahead. Yeah, I'll charge that one.
Has your player ever been traded from the team they were drafted by?
Not that I know of, no.
Whoa. Okay.
Is your player? So your player's a linebacker. All right. In the AFC.
We only have so many amount of. How many questions we asked so far? We can only go to 10.
Is your player? Is your player on the Chargers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hasn't been traded by the team that he was drafted by.
At least from what I know of, yeah.
Is your player considered a top talent? Like
recently, yes. Is your player?
Okay, I got it.
Is your player Khalil Mack?
No.
Okay.
Is your is your player in the AFC?
No.
Actually, 1 second, bro. Before scratch that. Now that I think about it, you asking me what team my player is on only narrows it down to so many people. That shouldn't be a question allowed. Because I know who you about to guess next.
I really don't. I mean, I guess.
All right, go ahead.
Is your player? Is it Joey Bosa?
Okay, that's a no. So we can't count that because we gotta scratch that. We gotta scratch because
I narrowed it down though.
Yeah, but like you narrowed it down to the point where it only became like you knew it wasn't defense. It wasn't a defensive back.
If I only get 10 questions, I gotta narrow it down. That's how it works.
Yeah, but not that. Like that makes it like that kills the suspense. Was yours Sauce Gardner?
No.
Wait 1 second.
You were close. When you said Diggs, that's why I thought like that.
Let me get another one.
I'll give you a hint. He broke his foot.
Oh, it was what's this called? Bland?
Yeah.
Jeez. I was thinking Cowboys for sure.
That's why I started. I was trying not to like look at you. That's why I started looking this way. But yeah.
I should have caught that. That's mine. We'll give you like a I guess, bro. You cheating, bro. Nah. Anyways, come on. Let's go right into it, man. I guess 2 weeks of you beating me at this game. I gotta get one on you, bro.
No.
I gotta get one on you. All right, man. Busy week in the NFL. Busy week one, actually. One of the crazier week ones of recent memory. Too much happened, actually. First of all, let's get started. I'm gonna just get started. First of all, on Thursday, the Baltimore Ravens played the Kansas City Chiefs. Thursday Night Football kickoff. Which I get it, bro. You won the game. Whatever. Good job, bro. Yeah, good job. Anyways, and obviously the Chiefs won the game in a nail biter. The Chiefs won the game by a shoe size, literally. If Isaiah Likely had one, if Isaiah Likely wears a 13 and he wore a 12, the Ravens win that game. Mm-hmm. So, what are your thoughts on that game? What were some things that you saw in that game that caught your eyes?
First off, I would like to say a win is a win.
Oh boy.
Secondly, in all seriousness, it was a great game to watch, exciting game. We watched it together. We saw a lot of great things. Like, by no means, like, just because the Ravens lost does not mean they're not a good team. Like, we saw possibly, like, if they were in two different divisions, meaning one was in the AFC and one was in the NFC, that was a Super Bowl caliber game. We got to see a lot of great things from Xavier Worthy. Man, I didn't know if the speed was real.
And let's put a pin in that and come back to it.
But yeah, I didn't know if the speed was real. We got to see, man, Rasheed Rice really got involved in the game plan. I mean, they did a lot of things, like seeing from the Chiefs, they did a lot of things right. And then going to the Baltimore side where you see Lamar running lighter and faster.
Yeah, he was pretty fast, man. He looked pretty fast, bro.
Like, Lamar had 120 rushing yards by himself, I think, or something like that in the game.
Yeah, it was something crazy. Yeah, I think it was 100 something. Yeah, it was something crazy. Definitely more than Derrick Henry.
And then Zay Flowers, like, coming to play. Like, he didn't forget about last year and the fumble and all that. Like, it was great to see that, like, their confidence didn't diminish because of that one loss.
And the thing, bro, I wouldn't even say surprising or like some of the biggest things for me in that game. Definitely, I picked lower on Rasheed Rice receptions, and I paid for that. I should have known when Marquise Brown tweeted his game or his performance is gonna feed families. I should have known. I should have known right there to pick higher, but it's all good. That was great to watch. Isaiah Likely.
Man.
I had him on my bench in fantasy, and boy, did he light it up. Thankfully, I was okay, but, like, he lit it up. Like, he was Bro, he had over 100. He had two touchdowns, almost a third touchdown at the end. Like he balled out, and I think it's clear to us that they might be moving towards Mark Andrews being more of a blocking tight end, and Isaiah Likely playing more of the receiving tight end. And I'm not mad at it, bro. It looked good. And obviously week 1, a lot of teams are like shaky and all of that, so they still got a lot to figure out. But like, I like the idea that I like what they have going with them, bro. I think that could really, really work out. And then finally, Xavier Worthy. His speed is legit. Yes, if you look at it stat-wise, if you're looking on paper, he probably didn't do well. I mean, he had 2 touchdowns. I don't know what you're talking about. That's a great first game.
He had 2? Really?
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns. Remember, he had the jet sweep, and then he had the receiving touchdown too. Yeah. It was 2 of them. And 68 total yards, 2 touchdowns. I think the jet sweep was like 21 yards. That jet sweep was insane, bro. That jet sweep, he literally shot out of a cannon, like straight into the end zone. And it's, someone is fast when like the players are like so close yet so far. Like the Ravens were right there. They just couldn't get him.
I mean, man, going back to like what you're saying about Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. First off, Isaiah Likely is a dog, certified dog. That boy, man, I remember like us talking in our fantasy league, and a lot of people were like questioning you for like, dang, really, Isaiah Likely? Like,
yeah, you got to have something like that on your bench, man, like for sure.
But like, it's just like to think about their offense now. It's kind of like very scary to think about because you got Lamar at quarterback, you got Derrick Henry in the backfield. If I'm them, I come out in the 2 tight end set and have Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, and you got to deal with who got to cover them. And if you want to do that, I still got Zay Flowers, who has stepped up another level this year, who's going to get the ball open. And Bateman, who doesn't get the ball as much because he is the 5th or 4th option, but he's
sneaky, bro.
He was a first-round pick for a reason. Sneaky,
bro.
So the Ravens are going to be – their offense is going to be pretty exciting to watch this season.
I think they're going to be good, man. I think they'll be fine. But just to move on this one, man, Xavier Worthy, he's the real deal. Like he's not only fast, he has hands. His touchdown catch is pretty insane. So he has hands. Say all that to say, Chiefs are 3-peating, bro. They're 3-peating. I told you this last week. I'm gonna say it every week, win or lose. They are gonna 3-peat, bro. They're gonna be the first team in history. Yeah. They didn't have Marquise Brown yet. And don't forget that defense, that sneaky defense. They'll be good.
I believe that, but now after watching the Ravens play and watching the attitude that they have after the game, if they play the Ravens again in that situation in the AFC, I think I'm going with the Ravens.
I don't know, man. I've never bet against Pat Mahomes, but I think AFC rematch for sure. I'd love to see that. Anyways, moving on from those guys. Next person we'd like to look at on Friday, the Philadelphia Eagles played the Green Bay Packers. 2 teams that I hate so badly. They played each other. It was another great game. Very slow start. Very, very slippery field. We saw they played each other in Brazil. Yeah. We saw the slippery fields, but they figured it out. Saquon Barkley's looking great on that Eagles offense. He had two total touchdowns. He rushed for over 100 yards. He's looking great. I also have him on my fantasy teams, 2 fantasy teams actually. So that's great. But unfortunately for the Packers, they have lost, at least for the time being, their starting quarterback in Jordan Love, and Malik Willis is up for the job, the backup quarterback. What is the take from this? Keep in mind his injury is, what was it? It was an Achilles, yeah. So it's, MCL sprain. Yeah. MCL sprain. So keep in mind he has an MCL sprain, so you never really know how that works. Mm-hmm. How does Green Bay approach this?
Well, thankfully, I mean, regardless of either situation, if it was this year or last year, and Malik has to step up, they got a great running back in Josh Jacobs, who can definitely handle the load of carries that we saw him doing when he was in Las Vegas. He's definitely going to do the same thing, be able to do the same thing in Green Bay. And I think they're going to switch more to the run game, more to RPO-ish, read option style, just to to utilize his strength. But also, I don't think they should be afraid to throw that ball because they still have young and great talent in Christian Watson and John Wicks and
Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs.
Yeah, Jaden Reed went off.
Yeah, he went off. He was the leading receiver in that game.
Yeah, so it's like they shouldn't be afraid to throw the ball either because they have great receivers. But I do think they will switch it up a little bit more. They might not take shots down the field, but they should still be aggressive.
Yeah, they definitely should switch it up. I feel like they picked up right where they left off last year. They look good. You know, they started off shaky. Of course, there's gonna be turnovers. There's gonna be mess ups, but like they look good. Josh Jacobs, I didn't see enough from him on Friday. I mean, I think he warmed up later towards the end of the game, but I'm still, you know, I want to see how he fits into this offense. Once again, at the end of the day, you can't always be like Saquon Barkley. You just fit right in. So like I feel like it's going to take a couple of weeks, and I think he'll be fine. Now my concern is I don't know how they're going to use Malik Willis because he's obviously showing us that like he's kind of like from what we saw with Tennessee, he's, you know, throw down the field sometimes, some ill-advised throws. So, like, they might need to, like, bring him back, run the ball, play the little run-and-gun type offense, you know, some options because he's fast. He can move as well. So, they can make that work. But I hope Jordan Love is fine. As much as I hate Green Bay, I don't like to see any player go down. I hope Jordan Love is fine. I hope he gets back healthy, you know, because I always want to see a competitive league. I don't need quarterbacks going down like last season. So,
they actually are saying, rumors saying that he may be able to come back either this week or next week.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's an MCL sprain, so it's one of those like day-to-day, week-to-week type situations. So we'll see.
MCL sprain will take you out for 4 to 6 weeks.
No, that's what I'm saying. But it's like a day-to-day. It's like some people can come back earlier than others. So we'll see. And speaking of MCL sprain, Rome Odunze, the rookie from Chicago, also has suffered the same situation, MCL sprain. I think that guy. You know, I think he's a raw talent. I think he's a dog. I hope he also comes back soon. Chicago, they didn't look the best, but they got the win. So that matters. They didn't look the best, but they got the win. Caleb Williams got a lot to figure out as a rookie quarterback. I think he had a very interesting first game performance, but you know who did not and who had a very good first game performance? Jaden Daniels.
Really?
Jaden Daniels had obviously they lost. They got their ass kicked.
We should expect that though.
But, you know, come on. It's the Commanders. It's his first game. I don't expect him to come in and turn things around. But Jaden Daniels' stats actually 184 passing yards, 88 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. And if you watch that game, he's Lamar Jackson but taller. Like, he's the second coming of Lamar Jackson and RG3 and Cam Newton but skinny. Like, he's good. And, you know, he has an arm. So, I like what I see from him. I think this week, he should take Offensive Rookie of the Week from what I saw. Might be someone else, but I think he beats Xavier Worthy over that because, I mean, his stats say better to me.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we just get to see him elevate his game more and more. I know it sucks to be in a situation like the Washington Commanders. Obviously, I don't know if you saw, but last year they had like the worst grades and everything. Like worst facilities.
They're struggling, bro. Worst coaching staff, worst management. Like it was bad.
So it's like I hopefully, you know, he keeps the main thing. Just keeps his eyes focused on the game and like help them elevate. Because I mean, Terry McLaurin is not getting any younger.
And he didn't. He didn't have the best game. He had like 2 receptions for 17 yards.
Yeah,
something like that. It wasn't anything crazy. So, but like I said, Week 1 jitters. You know who else knows about Week 1? I'm not gonna go into this. The Carolina Panthers.
Oh,
they have a kicker playing quarterback right now. Me. He's not literally a kicker. I'm talking about, bro. Me and the quarterback are literally probably the same size, man. Like it's crazy. I hope everything works out, man. Yeah. I hope everything is okay with them. I hope they figure it out. But anyways, man, moving on. Now the one that hurts my heart the most. It doesn't hurt my heart, but kind of pissed me off a little bit. Right before kickoff on Sunday, not before the game of this guy, but right before the first kickoff. The first game started on Sunday at 12 p.m. At around 11 a.m. or so, Dak Prescott signed a 4-year, $240 million deal with the Dallas Cowboys. Renewed the deal. All right, here's my take on this situation. I've gone to so many arguments, so many debates about it already, and it's only Tuesday. But here's the thing. I'm not saying don't sign Dak Prescott. I'm not saying we have a better option to find outside right now than Dak Prescott. All I'm saying is it wasn't as if he was holding out. He was going to play this season. This was the last year in his contract. He was going to play this season. Here's my take on this situation. Let him play this season. I'm not even saying after the season get rid of him. I mean, in a perfect situation, I would want to get a quarterback who wins in the playoffs, but let's even move on from that. Here's what I'm saying. Let him prove what he's worth. So, after this season, you decide, okay, do I want to keep him? Yes. Okay, I'm going to keep him, but I'm not going to pay him but he didn't play enough for $240 million, so I'm going to pay him this much. Or, oh my goodness, he went crazy. We won the Super Bowl, God willing. he became the MVP, or he went crazy. He made the playoffs and won a bunch of playoff games, or even if he lost, he went down to the wire. It wasn't his fault. He showed us what he can do. He showed us it's different. Okay, let's pay him $240 or however much. But my thing is, now you're in a situation to where you've paid him $240 million. If he, by the way, an okay first game, didn't make really any mistakes. He looked, pretty decent. Our defense destroyed the Browns, so whatever. But if he plays this season now and Dak Prescott throws 15 interceptions or leads the league in interceptions or plays just horrible all around, now you're stuck with a quarterback for 3 more seasons that you've paid $240 million. So even if you want to get rid of him or you want to bench him, you still have to pay him the rest of his money, or at least majority of that money. Yeah. Why do you make that decision? I don't agree with it at all.
Well, to play devil's advocate about it, man, honestly, I think you make that decision for certain things. Job security. Job security is the word, because ultimately I don't believe anybody, regardless of it being a sport or actual real job, wants to be somewhere where I may not be here next year. I got family to feed. I got things and responsibilities to take up, and majority of his life has been in Dallas. So I can understand it being a job security thing, because once you're in like a place that you're stable, you get to be you. You get to bring out that like inner alter ego. Like he's now like the money's not the problem. He even said it in his interview. The money's not the problem anymore. Now it's just about winning. So I feel like a lot of the things that come with being an NFL superstar and being a player and being one of the best is the distractions. And one of the biggest distractions is always contract disputes. So now that this is taken care of, we're not sitting up here at ESPN talking about, oh my gosh, are they going to pay Dak? Are they going to do this? Are they going to trade him? Are they going to let him do free agency? We don't have to do that anymore. Now all we got to focus on is winning. I got my main target. I got my quarterback. Let's do it.
You have a good point, and I agree with your point. Now to play the devil's advocate, as I switch into my devil's advocate mode, the real devil's advocate mode. Now let me tell you something, bro. Hope y'all like my hat. Let me tell you something, bro. You mentioned job security. Yeah. Even in corporate America, let's not even go to NFL. In corporate America, we have something called performance review at the end of every year, right? If somebody at their job is shaky, is going back and forth, seems to be struggling, seems to not be consistent, seems to, do great on a stretch of some things or a bunch of things, but then the biggest projects that matter, like I don't feel comfortable doing this, the biggest projects that matter the most, right? Yeah. They just drop the ball. The project that would most likely flag the CEO of the company, they drop it or they just mess up completely. Your performance review, they're gonna talk about that. They're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, good job, you did it. Oh, good job, oh man, good job, you did this." But you dropped the ball on this pretty badly. Now, here's my thing. We could have taken that approach with Dak Prescott. I understand not having a contract is a distraction, all of that. I agree. I get it. But here's my point, bro. It's like, at the end of the day, Dak Prescott should understand why the Cowboys are questioning re-signing him. It's a conversation that I think needs to happen. Dak Prescott has been in Dallas long enough for us to be transparent with him. Bring him into the office and be like, hey, man, we want you here. We want you to be a Dallas Cowboy. But you have to understand something. This is a business and this is a sport. We want to pay you, but you have to show us how much you're worth. It doesn't even have, like I said early on, it doesn't have to be a situation of, you're staying or you're going. It's just more of a situation of, hey man, our intentions is to sign you if you can show us this. Or our intentions are to sign you or it's like, we want to make our decision based on your year. Being transparent. I think that's a fair take. If someone is struggling, let's even put it in a perfect situation. In corporate America, if you're a contractor, right? Say you're on a 1-year contract. They will probably tell you, like, if they would not renew your contract, they're not going to renew your contract before they know what you can do. They will renew your contract based on what you've done. Like, if you're in there for a year and throughout that year you've done outstanding, you've done everything they've asked for, they will easily renew your contract, or they would bring you on or they will renew your contract long term, like a 4-year contract. But if they're in a situation where it's like they're going through budget situations, they're not sure if they can afford it, or your performance is kind of shaky, they're not really sure where you're at, they will extend you, but they won't extend you for 4 years or a whole year or 2 years. They will extend you for maybe 3 months, 6 months, so they can see, okay, let's see if you can turn this around. Let's give you another chance. With Dak Prescott, he already had that other chance with his last year right now. It's not as if we had to re-sign him. I think we should have waited and seen what will happen. Now, if he does bad over and over again, we have to be like, oh my God, we paid him this much money and he's performing terribly. And we still have to worry about paying Micah Parsons, whose rookie contract is coming to an end. We also have to worry. There's other players on that team that we have to worry about paying. But here's the thing. If we pay Dak that much money and we lose Micah Parsons because we couldn't pay him because we paid Dak that much money and Dak underperforms, that's terrible. That's just my take on it. And I'll leave it at that.
I mean, just to wrap it up, just to respond to that, I know you were talking about in corporate America with projects is ultimately when it comes down to it throughout the season, nothing matters, like as an athlete at least, or not even as an athlete, as a company CEO or somebody who runs this organization, nothing matters other than winning. Like winning the NFC East, winning the AFC East, winning whatever division is cool, bro. Going to the AFC title game and going to the Super Bowl is cool. But your season literally does, like, yes, it's an accomplishment, but your season doesn't matter if you don't win the Super Bowl. So, yes, there's improvement. You see improvement. You see teams that go from, we were a 6-7 team, and now we've won all the way to the divisional round, or we've gone to the divisional championship. That's fantastic. But it doesn't mean anything if you don't go to the Super Bowl and finish the job.
But that cannot be your approach to a sport. If that's the approach to a sports, bro, we'd be doomed. Because my thing is like, and even if I want to stand on your point, we have not improved. We've done the same thing. We've averaged winning 10 to 13 games a season. We've made the playoffs and we've lost in the first round.
But we're better. But okay, I want you to compare our situation to a situation like in Carolina. Like in Carolina, I don't think anybody has a hope or a dream of going to the Super Bowl.
Fair,
but at the same time, like, you got to understand that there are teams that don't even smell the playoffs. They don't even talk about playoff contentions. At the same time, we're a team that at least for the past couple of years, we've been making the playoffs consistently. And I'm not saying that that's good enough. It's not. Ultimately, we want to win because it doesn't matter if you don't win.
Like, bro, you want to keep going up. See what I'm saying? But keep going. Finish your point.
Just to finish it off, it's just more of if we don't, like, ultimately every team wants to win. If you don't win, it doesn't whatever you did doesn't matter because ultimately everybody's turn has flipped their switch to the next year. So if you don't win the championship, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but every year you want to say, okay, I think I'm in firm position to get closer or to get better. And even if you don't get, like, you always want to be in firm position to say you want to get better. Yeah. With Dak, I don't think we're there. But it's okay. I understand it. It's business. Finish off NFL Week 1. We're going to talk about Christian McCaffrey Didn't play first game last night against the Jets at home in San Francisco, dealing with a calf/Achilles injury. First of all, when you look at Christian McCaffrey, at least in fantasy football, you saw Q by him. Questionable. They didn't say anything. They didn't explain why. Okay, bet. That's over. Good. All right. Then they say, oh, yeah, he's kind of dealing with a calf injury. Oh, okay. Calf injury. Okay, cool. And then now it's his calf, but like it's also Achilles. So now it's like is it the calf? What's the Achilles? Because now this is two different injuries. That's two different injuries. But what do you think, man? You think Christian McCaffrey, do you think people should be worried? Is this injury? Do you think his injuries are worse than it seems, or it's just?
As far as fantasy owners should be worried. Because we've seen in the past, Christian McCaffrey, his whole career has been always struggled with staying healthy. Mm-hmm. As far as fantasy owners, you should be worried. As far as fans, no, you shouldn't be worried, because that ultimately, when he does play, when he is healthy, it like his impact on the game matters. Yeah. So as the season gets late, they could really. I mean, he's probably not going to do it, but they could probably rest him as long as they possibly need to, and just wait later to the season. Because, I mean, one, they've extended the season, so like you're playing longer games than you normally would a couple of years ago. So like, there's no rush to put him back and throw him back in the fire.
That's fair. Definitely, I think you should be more worried as a fantasy owner. Than being a fan, unless you picked up Jordan Mason, his backup, who ran for 147 yards and 1 touchdown yesterday, and you see that now. Okay, maybe I'm okay. And as a fan of, obviously that even puts you in a better spot. You're like, okay, he's out, but this guy in second string has showed us that he can do something too. So we're not too worried yet, And come on, let's get the Jets credit. They do have a good defense. Yeah. Yesterday, maybe not as much, but like. Generally, they have a good defense. So that was probably like a breath of fresh air and like some hope that, okay, Christian McCaffrey, you get better and come back when you're healthy. We don't want you to rush it. This guy can hold the fort right now. Debo can also hold the fort, of course. Brock Purdy, that defense. Ayuk, who didn't play the best yesterday. But, we've seen, Jennings, everyone. It's like, you take your time, and of course, Trent Williams, let's not forget that guy's one of the best offensive linemen, if not the best I've ever seen. So, So I think fantasy guys, if you didn't draft this backup, go ahead and start running around the room, bro. You're in trouble. But as a fan, you're fine. It's 49ers. Y'all be good. Y'all be okay. I mean, y'all lost your starting quarterback before, and y'all got Brock Purdy. How come the 49ers always get this? How do they always figure out a backup somebody to do something crazy?
They're always striking gold. I don't know how they do it, but
hey, man, that's a good franchise, man. Shout out to them, but I hate them. Shout out to them, though. Anyways, move from NFL. Actually, before we move into college football, ladies and gentlemen, you know what I do. You know what we do. This podcast is in partnership with Underdog Fantasy. Ladies and gentlemen, I have my selections for this week, and my picks are in. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know how it goes. If you do not have Underdog Fantasy, go ahead and download it. We have the link in our bio on Instagram, and I believe it's also in our descriptions in our YouTube video. So make sure you go ahead and click that link. If not, you can go ahead and download the app or go on the website. Make sure you sign up with code PASSTHEROCK in all caps. PASSTHEROCK. Pass the Rock. And when you put in a deposit from $10 up to $100, they will double that deposit. You know how it goes. $10, $20, $20, $40, and so on. The picks are in. All right, here I go, man. For this week, what's up?
I said let's hear him.
All right, for this week, Tyreek Hill, higher than 96.5 receiving yards. I would never pick lower. I would rather die on that hill. I would rather. No pun intended. I'd rather die on that hill and go over and go higher every single time than go lower and lose money. I have him going higher than 96.5 receiving yards. Rachaad White, I have him going lower than 44.5 rushing yards. Anthony Richardson, who's a dog, played great this week. I have him going higher than 208.5 passing yards. And Chris Olave, Ohio State, I have him going higher than 53.5 receiving yards. So, go through one time. Tyreek Hill higher than 96.5 receiving yards. Rachaad White, lower rushing yards, 44.5. Anthony Richardson, higher, 208.5 passing yards. And Chris Olave, higher, 53.5 receiving yards. So go ahead, make that pick. Once again, here's my weekly disclaimer. If you make this picks and you lose, do not come looking for me. Do not come looking for him. Do not come looking for Pastor Rock. I will not be there, and I won't pay you any money. But Underdog will if you sign up and you put in that deposit up to $100. All right, man. Let's move on. College football. Let's talk about Alabama, man. Come on. It felt good to say. I know why you say. I can't get why you say now. Come on. It feels good to talk about them, but it didn't feel so good to be an Alabama fan for the first 3 quarters of that game when they played against South Florida, who actually showed us some very interesting things. And Alabama's actually been upset by them 2 seasons ago, I believe. The issue, when I turned on my TV just to, see, okay, what's Alabama doing? Let's see what they're doing. Okay, man, let me go to a regular game or a better game or watch Texas Tech get their ass kicked by Washington State. Anyways, but I'm, like, stuck on the TV because I'm like, why is the game so close? Like, at some point, what was the score? Some point it was 13-14. Some point it was like 21-13 for the longest. Like, Alabama couldn't score. Like, and here was the reason, ladies and gentlemen. Flags, sacks, and more penalties. So, Caden Proctor and Elijah Pritchett, the offensive linemen for Alabama, allowed 4 sacks on Jalen Milroe. They were both responsible for 9 penalties, in which 2 of those penalties called back 2 big touchdowns. One of them being a 60-plus yard run by Jalen Milroe for a touchdown, who was dancing in the end zone. It was great to see my boy dance, but then you saw that face from Nick Saban. Boy, if y'all saw that face from Nick Saban, I was low-key scared. I was like, yes, sir. Like, he was disappointed by the amount of penalties that was going on with Alabama. My brother, what do you think? Going into this week, Alabama is about to play Wisconsin. Are you worried? They made the adjustments. Don't get me wrong. They eventually made the adjustments. They switched up the left guard and left tackle. They ended up, switching things around and making some substitutions, and everything worked out well. They ended up scoring like 2 late touchdowns. Final score was 42-16. So they won. But are you worried as an Alabama fan?
As an Alabama fan, no. What I think a lot of us don't realize is that their starting linemen were out. Those left tackle or right tackle that were playing were just people who got in for the first time in some years. And you know how Alabama is with playing. Like, you don't play until maybe your junior, senior year. So this is their first time even smelling the field. So we talk about like having those guys in is a big difference, and not having those guys who have been playing with you all season is an even bigger difference. So I'm not worried. Once the starting line gets back to where it is, like, it's just going to be business as usual, running through everybody in the season and hopefully hoisting another championship at the end of it. But no, as an Alabama fan, I shouldn't be worried. Yes, was I concerned about that game? Yes.
Wait, 1 second though. Are you an Alabama fan?
I don't. I am a Jalen Milroe fan. That's it.
So wait, no, 1 second.
Uh-huh.
Are you an Alabama fan though?
I support Alabama.
All right, bet. This guy. Go ahead.
But in all seriousness, the game was bad. I do expect Alabama to do adjustments, but I do want to give credit where credit is due. Them boys were good. Like, it wasn't
South Florida, you're saying?
Yeah, like they weren't scrubs by no means.
By no means.
By no means.
And actually, when I was watching that game, I told myself I was going to say this. My apologies to any other underdog teams that I might have said, no pun intended, that I might have offended by calling them whatever comment I made last week. I hope I didn't offend any smaller schools. But y'all are not playing this year, man. Y'all are not joking around. And I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. Keep going.
And it's like, man, with South Florida, I remember watching the game, and I was like, bro, why are they so good? They had 12 seniors come back.
Oh, yeah.
They had 12 seniors come back.
People lock in, bro.
That.
People be locking in. And not trying to throw blame, but the quarterback, talented guy, very good on the run. But there was a good amount of throws that if he had made better passes, just a little bit closer to the receiver, maybe a little less underthrown, a little less overthrown. There was like 2 back-to-back overthrown.
That should have been touchdowns.
Fades, goal routes, there would have been a touchdown. It's just like we could have been talking about a completely different game right now, because, Alabama eventually gets back in the game because it's like, okay, bro, like this guy's just holding our spot to win, So, but regardless of the score does not depict what actually happened in that game. Because if you watch that game, you realize they scored those touchdowns late. Great game. Shout out to that team. I think they'll probably see themselves in a bowl game this year, and they probably will beat some ranked team this year if that team isn't careful. Yeah, if they get one, they're gonna beat some Power 5 college this year.
Shout out South Florida, man. Y'all play good.
Them boys are crazy. Now, since we're on Alabama, before we move on from this topic, we're gonna talk about them playing Wisconsin, man. Their first challenge, the first couple of weeks is they played Western Kentucky, and then they played South Florida. So now they're about to play their first Power 5 college in Wisconsin. Do you think Wisconsin, especially with them having this little jitters, do you think Wisconsin could shock the world? Should Alabama be worried about Wisconsin? Can they beat them?
Alabama shouldn't be worried. They should be confident but cautious. Okay. Wisconsin is one of those teams
that's actually just very well spoken. Man, put it here, man.
If y'all need a coach,
Oh, okay. All right.
Anyways,
okay.
But they should be confident but cautious. Like, by no means do you underestimate any team that you play. As that's the quickest way for you to fall. But Wisconsin is definitely one of those teams that will bring it, and they bring it every year. They might not be in a bowl game or a championship every year, but they play hard and they play rough and there's a difference between playing like Southern football and then playing Northern football. Because them boys will be up there in the cold playing football, and they played a lot rougher. Oh yeah, and a lot smarter than we play it down here in the South a little. We play fast and we play fun. They play tough and they play smart. So I would by no means underestimate that opponent, but I do think they should pull out with a dub. My final score prediction would be 14 Wisconsin and then Alabama with 35.
Jesus Christ. Good old belt-to-ass whooping right there. I mean, that's not far-fetched. It could probably happen. They're both 2-0, but Wisconsin hasn't really played. Haven't really faced a challenge yet either. So, it's fair to say we really haven't seen what Wisconsin is about when it comes to, a better school. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I definitely think that Wisconsin can pose a threat. I think the game will start off close, and then it'll probably get away from them. I think Alabama takes the game as well. But if I want to give a final score prediction, I don't know, man. Maybe 42-21, something like that. Yeah, it's one of those games. It's going to start off like 7-7, 14-14, and then you know how it usually goes. The pick six is going to happen or like an interception or something, and then the game gets out of hand. So that's what I'm thinking. But anyways, Alabama versus Wisconsin. I believe Alabama's actually going to Wisconsin to play this game. Alabama at Wisconsin, 11 a.m. Central Time on Saturday morning. I will be watching the game. So should you.
Roll Tide.
Okay, I didn't say all that, but go Buckeyes. Anyways, to close out college football, let's talk about some of the biggest headlines. We talked about this in week 2, I believe, when we saw Colorado play North Dakota State. We said, oh my goodness, Colorado, you look kind of shaky. Not nervous, but you look kind of shaky. Just saying, but you look kind of shaky. Figure it out. Travis Hunter's a dog. He was a dog in week 2 as well, or in the second game as well. So that's cool. But ladies and gentlemen, they got an ass whooping to worry about. They lost to Dylan Raiola and Nebraska Cornhuskers 28-10. Shedeur threw the ball for 224 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Travis Hunter had 110 receiving yards, 0 touchdowns. And following the game press conference, the one thing that you don't do, and I'm pretty sure every coach, even probably down to their parents, down to probably the cafeteria guy will tell you. If you ask me, who's not a coach, I will tell you as a quarterback, whatever you do not put the blame on any single of your teammates. And that is where he messed up. Shedeur Sanders said in an interview, how many times did Dylan get touched? How many times did Dylan Raiola get touched? In other words, hinting at the fact that his offensive lineman wasn't giving him enough time and they didn't protect him enough, which he's not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. He's not wrong, but you can't say stuff like that as a quarterback, as a leader of the team. Also, as a guy who's under so much scrutiny already, they already think you're overrated. They already think you're overhyped. You're already the son of Deion Sanders. Everyone already thinks Colorado's getting too much hype. That is the last thing you want to say. As a quarterback, accountability, you want that. And you know what the worst thing about all this is? Forget the fans. Forget what social media is going to say. Forget being Deion Sanders' son. Now it's about you because NFL scouts saw that. NFL teams saw that, and they're taking notes. How do you feel about those comments? How do you feel about those comments? How do you feel about Colorado?
As a quarterback and as a leader of the team, you do the ideal wasn't wrong, but the way that he went about it was. As a quarterback, you're a leader of the team, whether you realize it or not. There's not very many successful teams where the quarterback isn't the leader.
Yeah.
In that situation, just like you would with any family member, you got to protect your guys, man. You gotta, like, it's kind of like we have fun together, we don't have fun together, we live, die together type stuff. Like, you got to protect your guys, because it's like they know, like, nobody has to tell them. They know that they messed up. They know that they could have protected their quarterback a little better. They know, like, they know this. You going to the media and, like, amplifying it makes it so much worse. And the way that he should have handled it was he should have protected his guys. He shouldn't have even, that comment shouldn't have even slipped out in the first place. He should have protected his guys, kept the P, watched the back, and in private, now you hold those guys accountable. But doing it in front of everybody, it's kind of like that situation where you're out with your girlfriend and your girlfriend, like, does something stupid or, like, does something to embarrass you, and you scold her in front of everybody. Yeah. You don't do that. You take her back to the car or home.
Yeah, you go back
you have
home,
that conversation.
everything in-house. Like,
you know?
I mean, and you know this, man. Growing up, our parents always said, you never handle family dispute, family business outside. You recognize there's a dispute. You leave it there. When you go back home, you deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you approach a lot of conflict, especially when it's with people you hold dear to you, people you love, your family, your wife, your girlfriend, your whoever else, your teammates, of course. So I think Shedeur just handled it so bad. I'm a big fan of his game and everything, but it's just like, that's something that you definitely don't want to say. It's something you go back to the locker room. For all, you could have gone back to the locker room right after that and yelled at your whole team. That's way better. At least off camera, of course. That's way better than saying it on camera. And now you play Colorado State, your rival, which last year we know what happened. Travis Hunter got hurt with that dirty play. Y'all had to come back to win that game. There's bad blood. Now you're going into a bad blood rivalry game with probably chaos in the locker room. I hope there isn't chaos. I hope they talked it out and figured it out. You know, I understand you're emotional. I understand you're pissed. I get it, man. But you don't say that because now that could cause drama and y'all could get beat badly by your rivals. And hopefully your O-linemen are good people because they could just say, and now what? So it's like, you know, I really hope they figure it out. I already know. And also, like, I hope, shout out to Shedeur Sanders. I hope he has a speedy recovery. You know, he got hurt, messed up his hand during the game. Hope he has a speedy recovery. But, you know, I already know Deion Sanders already gave him an earful. I know. Like, we don't even need to question that. Deion Sanders definitely corrected him to the core. But, you know, Deion Sanders being so disciplined, he's not going to come out and talk about that situation. He's a disciplined coach. So learn from your dad, learn from your teammates. Avoid those kind of situations. But, hey, man, it is what it is. Now, to close out, we do what we usually do every week. We're going to make our picks. As we make our pick, last and now, Sam, I'm not going to go too deep into this. We're going to talk about the Miami Dolphins and the Bills game and make our picks. But Jesus Christ, and I saved this for last. My goodness. Did you see the video with Tyreek Hill? That was so outrageous, bro. That cop is going to be fired. By Sunday's game, fired.
Yeah, man. I thank God that like nobody died.
No one's hurt.
You know,
no one.
That
Yeah.
could have been one of those situations where, you know, somebody's on the T-shirt and we don't need that anymore. It was really that it just kind of blew me to see because it's just kind of like, man, like you could tell like yes, Tyreek Hill, you know, did a traffic violation.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it's like, yeah.
They definitely forced
It's like everything. It's like, you know, when like someone, you know, like if, for example, we get into a dispute outside and I'm just like, bro, shut up. And everyone's like, whoa, why'd you say that, blah, blah, blah. But then you come out of nowhere with a plank or some iron rod and hit me. Everyone's going to be like, whoa. Everyone's going to forget what I ever said. It don't matter if I called you any crazy name on the books. Everyone is going to completely forget and not even remember anything I did and be like, hey, yo. And that's exactly what happened. Sure, it was a traffic violation. Sure, he didn't have a seatbelt on. Sure, he had a smart mouth. None of that required him getting, you know, thrown down on the ground, cuffed, bending his arm around. Yeah. And here's my thing, bro. Out of all those cops, there's no way in hell none of y'all knew that was Tyreek Hill. So, and it's not that I'm saying that, because it's Tyreek Hill, you need to let him break the law. It's more of, it makes me now think that there's more of a vendetta in your mind because you know this is Tyreek Hill and you're trying to prove a point here or do something. Especially that cop who just kept going crazy. It's like, bro, like, you can tell his partner was like, oh, you know, in a lot of this cop videos, you can always tell there's always that one person who was like, my God, bro, relax. But it's like they can't say anything which is like, bro, you should speak out. You know what I'm saying? So you can see it's just like, bro, you had a power trip, your ego got bruised, and you decided to like show your ego for that moment because Tyreek Hill's Tyreek Hill. He's gonna show you, he's gonna belt ass for the rest of your life. And over just trying to prove that you're a cop and you have a badge and you're the law.
What's crazy is like, I don't think people really realize how catastrophic that could have been for real. Because like, man, first off, we haven't had football. I just want to paint the picture. We haven't had football in forever. It's like our first official week of football. Mm-hmm. People have put money on this game. People have put time on this game. People are fans. People have flown from other countries to be at this game to specifically see number 10 run a fade.
And shout out to Tyreek Hill. Still had a great first week, man. Great ball player.
And like, imagine now if they have to announce and tell everybody, oh yeah, Tyreek Hill can't play because he got arrested. What did he get arrested for? A simple traffic violation. Oh yeah, here's the video on top of that to show us how Miami PD forced the whole situation.
I hope that cop has gotten his way out of Miami for the time being, bro.
Like, do you know how bad that could have? Like, that's big. Like, I'm not saying like Tyreek Hill is, you know, God. Yeah. But I'm saying that's big enough to start a riot. Yeah. No.
The city of Miami would have erupted. Like, there's so many things that could. Man, let's not even get into it. But shout out, you know, the NFL for getting that video. Shout out whoever released the video. Show us the real truth. Thankfully, shout out Tyreek Hill. I mean, I'm glad that it was a situation to where he could, you know, use his platform or whatever. But it's like, man, this is happening to people every day who are not Tyreek Hill, who are not even close to Tyreek Hill. And they, it turns worse, or maybe it's still the same situation, but they don't get this much coverage. So it's just like, man, I've said this before many years. I'll say it again. I do not condone any of that kind of situations. I don't see any excuse. Nothing should excuse that kind of actions, and boo to that cop, man. But it's all good. We're going to make our picks. All right. Dolphins, Bills. I'm making my pick first this time around.
Go ahead.
I'm going Bills, man. I mean, what am I talking about? I'm going Dolphins. They're going to Miami. Bills are going to Miami. Yeah, I'm going Dolphins. I'm going Dolphins.
You better make sure.
I'm going Dolphins. I'm going Dolphins.
Miami does it in a cold.
I'm going Dolphins.
That's okay.
No. Bills are going to Miami.
That's fine. I'll take my boy Josh.
All right. I'm going Dolphins. Josh Allen's going to have a great game. You know why? Because I have him on fantasy. He's going to have a great game, but they're going to lose. It's going to be a very good game, of course, as always.
I think a lot of people have been sleeping on the Bills for a little bit. I know, like, they don't get talked about because Stephon Diggs left. They just got a whole new receiving core and everything.
I think they're fine though. Yeah.
They're still gonna be a good team. But I'll take the Bills. I like the Bills on that.
All right, last game, Bucks Lions rematch of the NFC divisional semifinals.
Yeah,
that was it, right? Was that it was semifinals?
Yeah.
Was it wild card? Wild card, semifinals.
Something like that.
Something like that. I don't remember anymore. But yeah, it was playoff rematch. I guess it's not fair for me to pick first again, so I'll let you go.
That's okay, bro. I'm gonna take Baker Mayfield in this, man.
Perfect, man.
I know. Like, listen, the smart option is to take Goff and St. Brown, but man, I'm a big believer in Baker, and like I really do want to see him win. So I'm gonna stick beside, man.
That's not a dumb pick at all, man. At the end of the day, like, Baker showed us that, like, he's back. He's poised. He's back. He's figured it. Like, he's playing well right now. And
Brown's probably pissed.
Yeah, he's playing really well. I mean, he's in the better situation. He has of course, Mike Evans, one of the most, if not the most, consistent receiver in the league right now. Yeah. You have Chris Godwin. Rashad White's also a good back coming out the backfield. You have some other pieces out there. Like everything. You have their defense, of course. Yeah. I think they're good. But, I'm always going to pick Detroit, man. I like what I see with Detroit. They're winners. The way they close out the Rams game on Sunday Night Football, was a great closeout. I think they're winners. I think Lions are going. I'm a big fan of them offensively, defensively. Jameson Williams is a dog. Jared Goff has figured out his spot. He's a dog. Amon St. Brown's a dog. Come on. Jameer Gibbs a dog. Come on. David Montgomery's a dog. Come on. Come on, man. Let's keep going. Aiden Hutchinson, so much more. So, yeah. Let's lock it in, man. Right, let's see who'll be the loser of the week. We could have just a tie or a loser.
But I think I'm gonna sweep. But
all right, man, we'll see about that. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning in today again. Shout out to everybody who's consistently supported, tunes in, reposts, everything. We love y'all. We see the support and we appreciate it. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and suggest anything that you want to hear us talk about. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of another episode. Peace out.